So you said you're not a very good programmer.
True.
You're the world's most modest human being. Okay, but you'll continue saying that. I understand how this works, but you do radiate a sort of love for programming. So let me ask, do you think programming is more an art or a science? Is it creativity or kind of rigor?
I think it's some of each. It's some combination. Some of the art is figuring out what it is that you really want to do. What should that program be? What would make a good program? And that's some understanding of what the task is, what the people who might use this program want. And I think that's art in many respects. The science part is trying to figure out how to do it well. And some of that is real computer sciencey stuff, like what algorithm should we use at some point, mostly in the sense of being careful to use algorithms that will actually work properly, scale properly, avoiding quadratic algorithms when a linear algorithm should be the right thing. That kind of more formal view of it. Same thing for data structures. But also it's, I think, an engineering field as well. And engineering is not quite the same as science because engineering, you're working with constraints. You have to figure out not only, so what is a good algorithm for this kind of thing, but what's the most appropriate algorithm given the amount of time we have to compute, the amount of time we have to program, what's likely to happen in the future with maintenance, who's going to pick this up in the future, all of those kind of things that if you're an engineer, you get to worry about. Whereas if you think of yourself as a scientist, well, you can maybe push them over the horizon in a way. And if you're an artist, what's that?
So just on your own personal level, what's your process like of writing a program? Say, you small and large, sort of tinkering with stuff. Do you just start coding right away and just kind of evolve iteratively with a loose notion? Or do you plan on a sheet of paper first and then kind of design what they teach you in the kind of software engineering courses in undergrad or something like that? What's your process like?
It's certainly much more the informal, incremental. First, I don't write big programs at this point. It's been a long time since I wrote a program that was more than, I call it a few hundred or more lines, something like that. Many of the programs I write are experiments for either something I'm curious about or often for something that I want to talk about in a class. And so those necessarily tend to be relatively small. A lot of the kind of code I write these days tends to be for sort of exploratory data analysis, where I've got some collection of data and I want to try and figure out what on earth is going on in it. And for that, those programs tend to be very small. Sometimes you're not even programming, you're just using existing tools like counting things. Or sometimes you're writing awk scripts because 2 or 3 lines will tell you something about a piece of data. And then when it gets bigger, well, then I will probably write something in Python. Because that scales better up to, call it a few hundred lines or something like that. And it's been a long time since I wrote programs that were much more than that.